Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our virtual panel discussing some ideas, some tips, some advice for upcoming upper school students. We've gathered a group of students today that have been successful in their journey through upper school, and they have graciously agreed to impart some of that wisdom to you. And so what we'll do is kind of give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. We'll go around the board, but after that, we'll talk a little bit about what they're involved with, and then we'll talk about some pointed questions to each of them regarding different aspects that they do at school, and just some follow-ups as far as what we can provide as information to each of you today. So first, let me say thank you to the group that's gathered. It's good to see everybody, so wave and say hello to everybody at home in our virtual environment. But what we'll do is I'll start off. Emma, you're in my top left corner. And so as we go through, just introduce yourself, say what year you're graduating, what kind of things you're involved with at HHCA, and then we'll kind of move on to the next person.
Okay, so I'm Emma. I'm graduating in 2022. I'm part of Student Council. I'm a member of Zonta Club, and I am a part of Varsity Girls Golf.
Savannah?
Hi, I'm Savannah. I'm a current senior, so class of 2020, and I'm involved in varsity cheerleading all 4 years, varsity clay target. I've done stage crew for a number of plays, and I've done a lot of artwork with the art department and stuff like that. So,
Chloe?
I'm Chloe. I'm graduating next year, class of 2021. I'm involved in the National Honor Society, the National Spanish Honor Society, varsity cheer, and varsity golf. I'm also involved in a lot of plays at the school.
Caleb?
I'm class of 2021, so I'll be graduating with Chloe next year. I'm team captain of the swim team. I also swim for H2A, which is a club that is based out of the Island Rec. Swim all year long. I'm a part of NHS. I'm a part of the National Spanish Honor Society. I made junior marshal this year, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Courtney?
Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm class of 2021. I did varsity cheer this year, theater. I'm in Thespian Society, National Honor Society, and I'm also a junior marshal this year.
Great. Madison?
Hi, my name is Madison McCabe. I am a junior, so I am class of 2021. I am involved in, or have been involved in several theater productions. I've played varsity soccer, will be all 4 years if you include next year. And I've done varsity tennis, JV volleyball. I am on the Thespian Society, National Honor Society, and Spanish Honor Society, and I am in Student Council this year.
Great. I'm next on the list. So I'm Parker Collins. I work as the academic dean. I also teach in the math and science departments and do a little bit in the Bible world. And so it just is nice to be able to engage with these students and be able to bring this to you today. So I'll pass it off to Joey.
Hi, I'm Joey. I'm graduating this year in 2020, and I'm the president of the National Honor Society. I'm the salutatorian of my class. I've been heavily involved in the technical side of the theater program at Hilton Head Christian Academy. I've been on the varsity clay shooting team for 6 years. I've competed in the essay competition in the Skiza literary meet all but this year of high school. I'm a member of the worship band, and I'm on the Academic Honor Council.
Mr. Rousseau?
I'm Andy Musso. I'm the lead math mentor. I graduated high school and college both in the 80s. That's the 1980s, if we're keeping track. I also help out with the football team a little bit. I'm the student council sponsor. I got to be involved a little bit in the musical this year, which was very exciting. And I'm just, this is completing my second year here at HHCA. So I'm still kind of new and learning things, but I'm just loving it here, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to share.
And then Brielle.
I'm Brielle. I'm also part of class of 2020. I've been a part of Junior Marshall, Teams of Health of Youth, Zonta. I've also been a captain for the varsity girls basketball team for 3 years, and I've been a part of that team for 5 years. played varsity volleyball. I also I'm part of National Honor Society, National Spanish Honor Society, the wire specialist for the football team. And I've just been between sports and just academics.
Just as a question, how do you sign up for water specialist on the football team?
That is a lovely question to ask Coach Peduzzi and our trainer Dan Brown. But that is a fun crew to be a part of, and you get to be around Mr. Musso a lot too.
Hey, that's a good thing. So, no, just from the introductions here, I hope it's pretty clear that the depth of involvement and just the opportunities that abound here at Hilton Head Christian Academy, we promote students to be involved and engaged in as much as we possibly can, and work on balancing those activities with just their academic opportunities. And that's kind of part of the advice that we will focus on as we go. But at this point, I'm going to kind of turn it over, and I will start asking individual questions. And so from our panel, if you have anything to add on to the questions, please feel free to do so. But I'm going to start with Emma. So Emma, since you introduced yourself first, also you are still the youngest person on our panel here, as a sophomore rising junior. But just if you can kind of talk to us a little bit about your freshman experience, since it is freshest for you, and talk about what you've done over the last 2 years that have helped you transition from that middle school aspect to upper school.
Yeah, freshman year was fun. I would say for like advice from transitioning from middle school to high school, like I didn't feel like it was that much of a transition for me, but I would say like to get involved definitely during your freshman year, because as high school goes on, the classes are going to get harder and your time's going to become more used up with a lot of different studies. So I would definitely say get involved with whatever you want to during your freshman year. So.
And what were some things that you did get involved with right away?
Right away, I joined the varsity girls golf team. So that was a real fun one with Chloe. And then I joined student council with Mr. Musso. So that was fun. And then I did Zonta Club. So those are just a couple of things that I did. So.
All right, and so as we just kind of look at the bigger experience of upper school, we're going to jump ahead to Savannah and talk a little bit about just the college application process, what you've learned through the process, but also kind of what resources you've used through HHCA that have gotten you ready and prepared as a senior to head off to college.
Well, something that I did in my junior year in my English classes, we worked a lot on our college application essays. And so I got feedback from our lovely English teachers, Ms. Johns and currently Mrs. Harden. And I found that to be very beneficial. I also have talked to Ms. Murphy a little bit, who is incredibly helpful. And I really enjoyed just being able to use whatever resources that HHCA has to offer. I personally used Coalition instead of Common App, which I just personally found easier. And I was really appreciative of how the teachers kind of adapted to my own personal college experience and getting ready for college. But overall, I found it to be incredibly helpful. And I feel really ready to go to college, hopefully this fall semester.
I think you're prepared. You'll do a good job. So Joey, go ahead and add on to that one.
Yeah, and another thing that's really helpful about HHCA is all of the teachers have a vested interest in making sure you're successful. And with the small class sizes and the close relationships you form with your teachers, they'll be able to write you really good letters of recommendation because they really do truly know you and your strengths and weaknesses.
That's a good aspect. So. And then Caleb, can you just talk a little bit about the perspective as a junior at the moment, kind of starting the entire college process, what you're going through and how that kind of pertains to what Savannah and Joey were referencing?
I mean, really, it is just a lot of help from the teachers and stuff like that. I mean, just like Savannah said, there's no one, I mean, Miss Jones, I cannot stress how much of a help Miss Jones has been throughout this whole thing. I mean, her and Miss Robinson both working together to make sure that we know what we're doing for college essays, all of that stuff. It's not necessarily an unguided process, especially with such, like Joey said, small class. It's just very hands-on, I guess would be. You're definitely in it with someone who's there to help you. and who's just as interested in you as everybody else would probably be a big one.
I feel like they're really invested in getting you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to add.
And while we're on the topic of college, I know for most of the people that will be watching the video, it's kind of a few years down the line, but as you think about where you are and what you've gone through in the last couple of years in this process, what would be the things that you would say to a upcoming 9th grade student that might be beneficial to them to know at this point about just the college process?
As far away as college seems, as far as you really need to just focus on it the whole time. It's so easy to just lose sight of it. You're just, oh, it's 4 years away, you've got it. But keeping grades up, keeping everything balanced, taking the right classes, it really helps and works out in the end. And you'll be happy that you put the work in beforehand. That makes it easier towards the end.
Madison?
I agree with what Caleb said, but I also think Emma gave pretty good advice earlier. Part of, what's nice about freshman year is that you can kind of use that as an opportunity to try new things, so that later in your sophomore, junior, and senior years, you can kind of hone in on the things that you really enjoy. And I think that when you're applying to colleges, it's attractive to them if you found something that you really like. I know that I've heard a lot of advice on making sure that all of your activities have meaning instead of just, kind of building up a resume, even though that is part of the goal. But I think that if you are someone that has a tendency to do that, it is helpful to kind of use freshman year as just an opportunity to try new things, but also kind of analyze what you think you might want to pursue for your coming years in high school.
Absolutely. Joey?
And another thing is colleges, if you do decide that college is the route you want to take after high school, they would rather see one thing, whether that's like academics or a sport or something that you're wholly committed to and that you put a lot of work and effort into, than 40 things that you kind of maybe don't put all of your effort into and kind of do half a job in those things, because that shows them that you can commit to something and actually put a lot of effort into being the best at something.
Good. Chloe?
Don't be afraid to not know anything and not know what you want to do in college, because there's a lot of colleges out there who you don't have to decide till like second semester of sophomore year on what your major is going to be. So you have a lot of time to explore, and it's a lot of pressure to think that you have to be something right then. You have to decide, you have to know exactly what you want, but you don't. And it's nice to have an idea of what you might like, but people change their majors all the time. So it's just important to remember that it's okay to not know.
Brielle?
I just wanted to add in on like the college part about it. Really, especially when you reach your junior year, and understand that scholarships are important, especially if you're planning on going out of state and things like that. Applying for scholarships as early as possible and looking into things that could help you pay for your college is very important, because not all schools are going to give you the amount that you would like. And outside scholarships are always helpful. Being involved in community things could possibly give you opportunities for scholarships. So don't be afraid to go ask questions and look outside for things when it comes to your college opportunities.
Perfect. And then Savannah?
I'm just wanted to speak on a little bit on freshman year and how it really counts towards how colleges make their decisions. And so really focusing on academics as well as extracurriculars, your freshman year really matters, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's just freshman year, it's like first year of high school, doesn't really matter that much, but it really does. And really focusing on keeping your grades up and not just trying a lot of things, but also being able to balance academics with extracurriculars, because freshman year really does count.
Good. And we'll do two more just to kind of keep it moving, but Caleb, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like what Brielle was saying with keeping up with scholarships and stuff like that, I think the biggest thing would be, like she said, is be aware of deadlines. that helps 100% in both the college search and just in general throughout high school. Being prepared for everything and doing it early, just like she said, making sure that you're getting everything in on time and not just pushing it off and procrastinating it until the end.
Good. Enjoy. You can close this out.
And another thing about freshman year is school doesn't need to be stressful. You don't need to spend a lot of time and energy worrying about getting the perfect grade or even getting like an A or a B in a class, because it is your first year of high school. You are learning. That's the point of school. And if you can just constantly be improving and getting better and learning new things, that's something that's going to reflect on your college applications, and they'll be able to see an improvement over all 4 years of high school if freshman year doesn't go that well.
Absolutely. I think that's a key point, just the improvement aspect. Colleges look for desire and passion, and that's what we kind of express to all of you throughout. And that's why we promote all the different activities, is for you to find your individual self. And I think going out, trying things, being involved in a lot of different groups, community, even school-wide. But that's the key component, is that you understand what you have a passion for. We'll help guide you through this process, get you set up for colleges that can help you find those passions and build on them. But it is kind of a time for you to learn more about yourself as you get ready for that college experience. So, no, I appreciate the efforts there. And just to transition a little bit, I know all of you are heavily involved as we got in just the introductions of all things. And so, Joey, I'm going to go back to you just for a second. If you can talk a little bit about how to maintain some balance. So you talk about making sure grades count as soon as you start in high school, which is true, but it's not an overwhelming thing. So as you make the adjustment from middle school to high school, what are some ways that students can learn and parents can learn to help their students balance their time between activities, between school, and between family?
Yeah, so I am a very busy person. I'm involved in a lot of different things in a lot of different places. Outside of school, I'm involved in Boy Scouts and the Civil Air Patrol and personal interests and stuff like that. And I've found over my 4 years of high school that balancing all those things can be very difficult and can be very stressful at times. And so I would suggest, as a freshman, going out and trying new things. And you don't have to do things that you don't like. I mean, to an extent, you do need to try your best in school. But if you don't want to play a sport, you don't have to play a sport. If you don't want to do the musicals, you don't have to do the musicals. But whatever you do, make sure you keep a calendar or some other kind of way to make sure you're not overlapping on your time. And don't agree or make new commitments until you've checked that calendar, because then you will double or triple book yourself, and then it's not fun at all.
Calendar and organization is good. So, Coley, go ahead.
Like Joey said, I think especially in your freshman year, it's important to try new things, because your freshman year is going to be a little bit more relaxed than other years. And so during that time, you can explore different things that you might not have done in middle school before. Because if you do things maybe even a little outside your comfort zone, you could find you really like them, or maybe you find out you really don't like them. That means you know what to steer clear away from. And it also, as Joey said, helps you better manage your time and build those time management skills, because if you are anything like me, who has 5 AP classes going on right now, it is ridiculously hard to juggle all those things, plus 2 other extracurriculars going on. So it's important that you figure out what you can handle in those early years.
And I'm going to kind of slide over to Courtney just as we talk here. So balance is key, and we identified that, but you are a first-year student here at HHCA and have done a wonderful job integrating into the community and culture and being involved in a lot of different aspects. So can you talk to us a little bit about, as we have 8th graders looking to make that jump to high school, just a little transition, but how your transition went and what helped to ease your transition into your junior year?
Yes, okay, so this is my first year at HHCA and I'm a junior, so it's a little different, but obviously I was a freshman one point in my life. So personally for HHCA, what I really liked was that it's a really welcoming community. Everyone at the school was very welcoming towards me, and I had tons of people come up to me and just greet me and wholeheartedly want to get to know me, which I think is a unique thing about this school, because I have been to different schools. So that's one thing I do like, is that not even just your grade, but I have become friends with so many people from different grades. Like a lot of my friends are seniors and sophomores, which is great. I would say something that really helped me was I try to get involved. I did cheer this year. And the nice thing about cheer is that it starts before the school year. So that was really nice for me. I got to meet a lot of girls that I love. Savannah was on that team, Mads was on that team, Chloe was on that team. I met a lot of great friends, and it was nice being able to go to school and seeing friendly faces. Because for me, I just moved to this area, so I did not know anyone. And it was really nice that I saw some people that I knew and I had gotten to get along with through the summer. So it was kind of a little safety net, I guess you could say, sort of. I also decided to do theater this year, which was even my first year doing theater. But even I had it first period, and just it was very welcoming, and all the people were just very excited to be there, which is, I think, something really nice. So I agree with what everyone's been saying, this, get involved in things, even if, like, I've never done theater before, but I've done dance. So it is something kind of similar to what I've always liked, but a little different. And I found a whole new passion, which was really amazing. I get to meet like a new community of friends and family, which is awesome. So I would say get involved. And I would also say don't be afraid to let people help you. I've had many instances where a ton of people helped me into this transition. Madison here was actually one of my mentors at the time, and I would text her like asking about school uniforms and things since I was new, and now we're best friends, which is amazing. So that's for kind of new people to HHCA. But even if you're not new and you've been here and you're just rising from HHCA, it's still great to talk to counselors. Miss Murphy was my counselor. I ended up being her TA this year, which was amazing. I got to grow closer with her, which was very nice, as she was kind of sort of a mentor figure. And so I got to, she helped me with my schedule. She made sure I got classes that I would like. I think that's another thing when you're picking extracurriculars. There's obvious requirements that you have to have in arts and physical and things like that, but try to pick extracurriculars that you would enjoy doing. I think that's important too. So again, find new things, but do something you think you might like, and don't be afraid to reach out and get involved. I would say those are my main things.
Perfect. Great answer. And so I am going to slide it over because there's a bunch of fans clamoring for a response from Mr. Mousseau. So as we kind of talk through this part, do you have anything from a mentor aspect that can kind of help students identify how to balance, but tie that into kind of just like 5 skills that you identify that make students successful in your math course and in different classes within the upper school?
Well, I'm a man of few words, so I'm going to try to keep it to be a nice short list. And I have a list of 5 things that I have boiled down to 2 words, and I'm going to just kind of run through them all. And the first one is just show up. It's amazing how much life is just showing up, coming to school, being where you're supposed to be, trying new things. Just be there. The second thing is work hard. And work hard is not just look like you're working hard. It's not just be busy all the time. It means put yourself into what you're doing. When you're in school, be in school. When you're in the theater, pay attention. When you're in practice, practice hard. When you're sleeping, get good sleep. Just work hard means be directed when you're doing your thing. The other thing is a huge thing. The older I get, the more experiences I have, the more it comes down to something that's simple, another 2-word thing, and that is just be nice. Be nice. It's shocking how much people get because they're nice and how much people miss because they're not nice. Just be pleasant to be around, and it's amazing how much better that makes your life and the lives of people around you. People like it when other people are nice to them. That universal. And I think that's a huge thing. Courtney talked about this, which I love. It's ask questions. Ask. If you're not really sure, don't worry about looking silly. I don't know how many times over the course of my career, when somebody asks a question after a long period of silence, does anybody need anything? Nobody says anything. Nobody says anything. Finally, somebody asks a question. Everybody goes, oh my gosh, I don't know that either. Half the class, 3/4 of the class, all of the class, nobody knew it, but only one person asked a question, and the benefit came to everybody else. So that's the first four: show up, work hard, be nice, ask questions. The last one is very important, and that is be you, right? It seems like in high school that what you want to do is be as much like the model high school student as you can possibly matter or manage. And that's just, it's a myth, and it's ridiculous, and it's really boring. All of these people, I've had the privilege, all these students were in my class one time, and I love how hard they work, and they do all those things, and they're nice, and they show up, and they work hard. But the best part about them is their uniqueness. I know something weird, kind of embarrassing about everybody on the screen, and it's
Don't share it now.
part. Yeah, I'm not going to share,
Okay.
but it's like, that's my favorite part about who, and that's how we are. We don't love the sameness about people. We love the differences. And that's what makes, this screen so special to me, is I see this and I look at, we talked about, Madison being Courtney's mentor. Well, last year I was brand new. Brielle was my mentor. Right? I did not know what was going on. I came from a large public school. Christian school was totally new for me. Small school, Southern school, our school, totally new. And I don't know how many times that I would look at Brielle, or I'd whisper to her, and I'd say, okay, what's the deal with this? Is that a uniform or not? And she'd say, no, he's fine. Or, oh, I don't know. Or, and she was such a help to me, especially in my first 3 or 4 months. She was definitely my mentor. And I'm so thankful for her that she helped me get used to everything here. And that was part of her being her. She wasn't worried about the other students were, talking to the teacher too much or telling secrets or whether. She just helped me out. She was her. So there you go. Show up, work hard, be nice, ask questions, and be you. That takes you through school. It'll also take you on and beyond. And I would just add that other aspect of seek Jesus. It's one of the really cool things about our environment is you can really take nice deep dives spiritually by being here. You have, I've just been floored by the depth and quality of the mentors and people surrounding our school. They're wonderful Christian people, and they all have great witnesses and great aspects that they can share with you, and also just your other students. It's kind of a messy world out there once you leave our bounds, and having a good solid spiritual foundation is such a blessing that comes from being in our school, and just taking advantage of that. And it's one of the things you can do during the virus thing is take this opportunity to read more, study more, pray more, talk to others more, and it's just a good chance for a spiritual dive in a short run. And in our school, you've got 4 years to really seek Jesus in many different ways and grow spiritually during these 4 years. And I think people that take advantage of that have a tremendous advantage going forward. Few words.
Give Mr. Rousseau a hard time for being a man of few words, but the answer was so great that I can't dig in too deep there. But no, you've done it nice. That's a wonderful response, but it sets us up nicely for the transition to Brielle, because we were going to talk a little bit about just the mentor aspect. And so as Mr. Rousseau has identified you as a mentor, can you talk about how you have identified mentors in your high school experience and how they've been helpful to you?
Well, I have been at HHCA for 8 years now, since 5th grade, which is crazy to me. But mainly, I found mentors throughout my middle school and high school. But really, high school, I started really figuring out myself and asking questions and seeking certain teachers that I found myself comfortable with to talk about really anything with. And Mr. Musso has been there for me through my college decision, especially if I wanted to play basketball, if a sport was necessary, or just trying to figure out what school could kind of fit me. Also, Mrs. O'Grady has been amazing for me, especially playing between volleyball and my knee injury last year, or 2 years ago, and just coming back from that and understanding that in certain aspects I need to take the leadership role and just look out for certain people in certain ways, and just being able to talk with her about anything really helped. And the daily hugs that I would have with her and just certain things just always made me feel okay, I can get through this day, it's gonna be okay. But also with my coaches, Coach Conroy, even though he may seem very mean or sarcastic and everything, he's a very good person to really looks to sometimes when things get hard, especially in sports aspects. He really pushes the best out of you. And I think really with any teacher or any student who just feels like they can't talk to anyone, you really can. Any teacher is open to any type of conversation with you, no matter what. And they're open eyes and ears for you. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, doesn't matter who you are or what it is that you need to talk about. It really is a great thing to have and be able to seek any teacher that you feel comfortable with. And just that any and every teacher, no matter what, if you don't think that they are there for you, they really are. So that's, for me, the mentor part of it has really helped me in certain aspects get through high school, between everything that I juggle with academics and AP classes and sports and outside of school sports and everything. So
Good. And Chloe?
Yeah, I agree, especially with everything Brielle said, that like you can go to any teacher. As you move through high school, you will definitely find those teachers that you feel super comfortable with, that you can share a lot of things with. I've cried in front of Mr. Collins. I've cried in front of Ms. Kapitsky. I just cry a lot, I guess. But these teachers are there for me, so I can do that. And if I'm having trouble, if I'm having a mental breakdown, they're going to be there for me and they're going to know what to say. Mr. Rousseau is there every day with a Bible verse and words of wisdom. And that is, I appreciate that beyond words. And I just can't express how much these teachers are there for you and they're there to help you.
I cried in front of Chloe.
We'll ask for that story later on at some point, but yep. Mm-hmm. All right, Savannah?
Just kind of adding on to what Brielle was saying about finding mentors within your sports, as I know I've done cheer for all 4 years of high school, and basically a second mother that I found in Ms. Zeddy is just, it warms my heart to think about it because I've just had such a great relationship with her throughout the years. So just really looking at the teacher, like every teacher is definitely open to it, but then there's those ones that you see every day and that are there specifically to help you with really anything that you need, and just build relationships with them, and they are completely open for it. And it's just something that I really loved about HHCA and I'm really going to miss.
No, that's great. And I think that encapsulates a lot of what we try to get accomplished. And no, I just love being able to talk to you guys, and we could do this for hours, but I want to be honoring of your time. So I'm going to break it down to 3 questions for us to end with. Just the first one, as the academic dean and having a pulse point on just the academics of the school, what do you think the biggest adjustments are going from middle school to high school? And what would you say you would tell your 9th grade self about academics that would help you now that you look back on your high school career? So Chloe, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just do not procrastinate. I have been doing this my entire life with everything. Sometimes I do that so much that it's ended in a lot of late nights. Mr. Collins can tell you that I go to bed when he gets up, which is like 4 a.m, or all-nighters where I don't sleep at all, and I'm falling asleep in English class, and it's just horrible. Even if it's one assignment that you get done before the due date, that's one assignment you have to do that night. And it's just been a struggle with the amount of homework that you accumulate over the years. Do not procrastinate.
Courtney?
I would just say, if I was talking to myself, I would say don't take on too much. This school is filled with a lot of smart people, and it's okay if you aren't as smart as other people. I feel like it's intimidating when there's a lot of people. You're like, wow, she's taking 5 APs. I should be taking 5 APs. But no, everyone has different things they do. You have to find your own personal balance. Some people, it's 1 or 2 APs, and you can still be on like Honor Society. This year, for example, I'm only in 1 AP, and I'm still on National Honor Society, which is, I think, a great thing to think about. You have to make sure that you find your personal balance and not try to meet somebody else's standards to try to be as good as them, because you are as good as them. You just have different things that you're doing. I would say that's important.
All right, do we have other hands go up? Madison?
This is more of something I think I've learned actually not too far after the beginning of my freshman year. But I think just to address that initial shift from 8th grade to 9th grade, one thing that I found helpful or would have found helpful knowing is that honestly, high school, it is different from middle school, but in ways it's super similar. So the habits you establish in middle school are going to carry over into high school. And I think that's kind of helpful to know going in because like look at yourself now and you know these are areas I can improve in and then these are areas I do well in. And I think that kind of gives some sort of confidence because I feel like listening to this might be kind of overwhelming, you know, ranking a list of things that you're going to have to do once you start your high school career. But I'd just say, you know, focus for that initial shift, focus on the things you're good at. And you're not all of a sudden going to have to start over when you start freshman year because those strengths are going to carry over.
Good advice. And then Joey closes out on this question.
I'd like to just kind of echo what Chloe said. It's always better to not have anything hanging over your head while you're doing the things you really enjoy. If the things you really enjoy aren't doing schoolwork, do your schoolwork first, and then you can do the things you really enjoy unburdened by the homework assignment that's due at midnight on Saturday looming over your head.
No, and as we think about academics, always a vital part, but not always the things that create the best or most common memories from your experience in high school. And so what I want you to do is take a moment and just kind of talk about, it can be a club, it can be an organization, it can be a team, but just what was the most shaping thing that you were involved with during your high school career? And you can share a memory that goes along with that as well. So, Chloe.
I want to go with high school golf, girls golf, because it was something I was never going to do. And my whole time in middle school, I was freaking out because I hate sports. I hate anything physical. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get my PE credit at all. But my friend was the last remaining member on the golf team because everyone else had graduated. And so she was like, Chloe, you got to do golf. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I suck. I'm not going to lie. I'm horrible at golf. I'm horrible. But it wasn't about that. It was about the people I met and the memories I made. It was the experience, and it was the best thing. I still remember the first golf tournament we went to, though. It was pouring. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. And they were like, just go, just hit the ball, just, drive it down fairway. And I'm like, I can't see anything. And so I try to hit the ball, and I think it goes like 2 feet in front of me. And I'm like, I'm glad no one saw that. And it was just horrible. But I still remember that to this day because we were all soaking wet, but it was still fun because it was the experience of being a team together and doing something. And even if we almost came in last place, that's okay because it was fun.
Thanks for throwing in that last place part at the end. That was great. So, awesome. Caleb.
Mine's also with a school sports team, the swim team. Some of my best friends were on the swim team. One of them's already graduated and gone off. They were the first people that I met at the school because the swim season starts before school does. And, it's great just having a team and all that. And then great memories, a failure just like Chloe's. We were at our high school state swim meet, and I was supposed to do a 200 IM, which is all 4 of the strokes. And I dove straight in, and I did a 50 free, and that was immediate disqualification at states in an event that I was supposed to get first place in. So it was always great.
Math teacher there, just making sure we get those numbers right?
No one on the team was more mad than myself, though. Everyone was way more supportive about it than I was to myself. So absolutely. Great people.
All right, Courtney.
I know I mentioned cheer team earlier, and I know a lot of us are on it, so I just kind of wanted to talk, in here, I just wanted to talk about it. That team is just such a great group of girls, and I think it teaches me a lot about teamwork. And what I really like about our cheer team at our school is that it's not so heavily focused on just cheer. Miss Eddie is always trying to do things to make us know that we're family, and she treats us like her children, which is super fun. She wants the best for us, and she teaches us all how to treat each other kindly. We're girls, we're gonna have certain things going on, but at the end of the day, we all love each other, and it was a really great time. I remember our last game, it was pouring really hard, and she brought ponchos. There wasn't enough ponchos for everyone, so we were trying to figure out what to do, and finally a couple of the girls and I were just saying, this is our team out there, this is our school. We drove all the way here on a bus to cheer for them, and so we all decided just to go out and cheer in the pouring rain, which I feel like sounds terrible, and it was cold, but it was also really fun that all of our girls were there, not only supporting each other, but supporting our school. And it was just a really good time. I love the whole team. I'm excited.
Savannah?
And especially being the captain of cheer this past season, I could talk for hours about how much I loved it. But since it's already been talked about in sports and stuff, I'm going to talk a little bit about retreat and how much I love retreat and all the memories that have come from that, especially going on senior retreat this year. It was supposedly like a vegan camp, so we decided to bring stuff to make burgers and hot dogs, and we like smuggled stuff in, and it was absolutely one of my most favorite memories throughout the entire high school experience, that we all just like came together and we're like, this is what we're doing. And it was so fun. And just like every retreat that I've gone on, I've gone to so many different places, and high school retreat is a little bit different from middle school retreat, but I definitely feel like the bonds that I made on retreat, since it's close to the beginning of the year, just lasted the entire high school experience. And so it's really memorable every single year.
Great. Brielle?
I can say mine is sports and club. These past 2 years have been the most memorable for me, especially with basketball, since we are back-to-back state champions. But I can remember my sophomore year when we were in the playoffs, Mr. Gray brought us Chick-fil-A. And ever since then, because that was the game that we lost in the semifinals against Trinity Burns. And ever since then, we've been like, we're never eating Chick-fil-A before a playoff game again. Like, never again. And it's been subs since last year. Like, we made Coach Conroy buy us Jersey Mikes this year before our games, every game. But that being a captain of that team has really made me bond with all of the girls, and just these past 2 years have been so much fun, really, and I'm gonna miss it. But and also with volleyball, with all the even though we lost in the state championship, the season will always be memorable, and just certain things and certain people, and just our pre-games that we have and everything will always make me smile, and the videos that we have together and the trips that we take. I will always miss them, and wish I could rewind sometimes, but those are really the main things that have, especially a part of like my high school year, but those are some memories that I have with them that I will always remember.
Awesome. And then just to kind of close it out, I want to do 2 pointed ones real fast. Just to, Joey, if you can talk a little bit about just worship leadership, something outside of the athletic world a little bit, and then just open it up for a brief one on theater and just different fine arts components that are out there if anybody wants to take that one. But we'll hold this to about a minute if you can give us a little bit of insight into those worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a member of the worship leadership team, and I have been for the past 2 years, and it is an awesome experience. It takes the period slot of Bible during the day, and during the week we dive into the scripture of the message for that week, and we pick and rehearse 3 or 4 songs that we perform at our chapel on Thursdays. Those of you who've been to chapel in middle school have seen us before, and it's a really awesome experience, and I really love how close the team gets throughout the school year. We really get to know each other, and we get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and by the end of the school year, we're pushing each other to do things that we might not have been comfortable with at the beginning of the school year, like trying new instruments and playing more complicated riffs and stuff like that. And worship is a really awesome experience. And if you're interested in that, I would strongly suggest talking to Ms. Kapitsky and Coach Thine about it.
Great. Chloe, did you want to add on something there?
Yes. Well, I just want to talk about some of the fine arts things, such as band and chorus. I did band since 4th grade. I didn't do it this year, didn't fit in the schedule, and I don't think it'll fit next year either. But I did band for 7 years, and that's a lot of time. And for most of that time, I was the only girl in band class. I played the flute, and it was something that was a unique experience for me because it was different than my normal social group, because it was all these different people, and it was a lot of fun. And you get cool experiences, such as, like, at one point I got to play in the pit for one of the plays we did, Guys and Dolls, and I really wish I got to see it, but at the same time the music was incredible. The fact that we had a live orchestra for that, and it was intimidating because I could not play very well, but it was so much fun. And I will never forget the time I knocked over the cowbell at the quietest part in the play and everyone could hear it. So that was great. But, oh, and as a chorus, I did chorus for a couple of years. I don't remember which years, but it was still a lot of fun because you get to blend and learn how one sound, like a bunch of different voices, become one sound. And it sounds really good when you hit that perfect harmony. So
great. All right, I'm going to go to Madison and then Joey, and then one last question for us all, and then we'll end. But Madison, go ahead.
So I've been doing theater since I was in 6th grade. And theater has been a pretty big part of my life, I think, or at least part of my HHCA experience. I really enjoy it, and I think that's because of the relationships that you build doing theater. I remember being in 6th grade, which was my first show, was Beauty and the Beast, and I got to spend a lot of time with the high schoolers, which was kind of a new experience for me because middle school and high school is pretty, you don't really cross paths a lot during your day. And I remember being backstage for the final show, and one of the juniors, I think at the time, whispered to me, like, "We're going to be best friends after this, so right?" And I still remember that now because even though, that relationship has changed since then, it's kind of a good model for what I think theater is. It's, there's a lot of camaraderie that comes with doing theater, especially when everyone's working towards the common goal of putting on a show. And it really pays off when you do get to perform it. But I think especially with theater class, just in my schedule, I've had the opportunity to make friendships with people that I don't have classes with. So I think that's really nice because it kind of brings a different mix of people together. And yeah.
Joey?
Another thing that's really special about the arts programs at Hilton Head Christian Academy is that you don't have to be in the class to participate in the arts. I haven't had the opportunity to take the band class since freshman year just because it hasn't worked with my schedule. But Mr. Barry still gives me sheet music and lets me come in and practice after school to play in any big band numbers, and I get to play in the pep band during football games. And he also gives me gigs outside of school because he knows my qualifications as a musician. And the same with theater. I haven't been in theater class at all, but I've been involved in every production. And you can be involved on stage or off stage. It's just an awesome opportunity, no matter how you choose to do it. So yeah.
That's great. So, no, just as we close out our time, Mr. Musso, you can tell us your theater experience a little later. But what I want to do is take a moment as we look at us at HHCA as our school. Our ultimate mission is to know Christ and make him known. And what I'd like to do is just have you be able to kind of touch base on how you've been able to maintain your spiritual growth throughout high school, where you go in the upper school to be able to find the support and encouragement that you need, and any outside parts that have also helped you kind of develop and grow as a person over the last couple of years.
I think Mr. Sudeth is a pretty good source to go to, obviously, because, he is typically the person that leads chapels, but he's my E10 teacher. And I think that, E10 has given me, more of that mentor relationship with Mr. Sudeth, but I really do think he's a good person to seek out because he does have some more of that Bible knowledge. If you have any difficult questions that you're struggling with in your faith, he's a good person to seek. But our school is full of different mentors that are willing to kind of come alongside you wherever you are in your spiritual walk. So honestly, anyone in the school would be a good person to seek. I know Mr. Musso, just being in his regular classes, I am in his Bible class now, but that was shortened because of coronavirus. So, but just being in his math classes, Chloe touched on this, but he, reads Bible verses and gives us a little lesson of the day before math. And I think that's really encouraging. So Mr. Musso, I think, is also another person that I would be comfortable in seeking out for spiritual advice.
Sorry, I missed the other hands. Joey, go ahead.
I would say that any teacher you have or any person at the school who you're comfortable with is a perfect person to seek out. I've had so many different teachers throughout my career at Hilton Head Christian Academy, and every single one of them has impacted my spiritual journey. Mr. Musso's Bible verses at the beginning of every class and wisdom that he shared throughout every class was very influential. And Mr. Collins has definitely helped me with more of the science side of Christianity and rationalizing how all of that works, and seeing the beauty that God has put into our world. All of the teachers, especially your E10 mentor, are very good resources.
Good. Chloe?
Something that HHCA has that I think is really unique is Life on Life. And so you as a student can get a mentor and discuss your faith and discuss, things going on in your life and how to best handle these. And sometimes it's another student, other times you have teachers or adults that can help you with these things. But I think it's really interesting because you have people who are more experienced than you, people who have read the Bible maybe a little bit more than you and can help you interpret things. And I've personally never been in it just because I'm kind of a personal person and I wasn't ready to be paired up with somebody just to spill all my stuff. But I know that people who have gone through that and enjoy being a mentor or enjoy being mentored. And it's just a really important experience that HHCA has to offer.
Brielle?
I can say being an FCA leader has really helped me a lot with my spiritual journey. I really started doing that last year for sure, but I've always gone to FCA, and it really allows you to connect with people who also play sports, but also connect your life spiritually and athletically. And I think don't be afraid to ask questions if you have questions about anything, but FCA, especially, not you don't have to play a sport, honestly. Just come to listen, to hear from upperclassmen and about their life, because I know I have talked about personally between my knee injury, going through learning how to be a leader through sports, understanding how to balance school and sports, and just asking questions and asking myself questions, just how I look at life with athletics and without athletics, and just seeing how I seek God through each thing in my life.
Wonderful. Emma?
Every day, Mr. Rousseau, first period I have him, he has his Bible verse, he prays for us, and that's it's really good. It just starts your day off good. And then I would also say that Mr. Langhouse always has some spiritual wisdom. So
good. All right, did I miss anybody? All right. Well, it is just an appreciation for all of your time today. So as you look at these faces on the screen, it is go seek these people out. As you experience upper school, there are people here on the screen, but also people all throughout that are there willing to help, be a guide for you, but also just to live life with you. I think the main things to take away from today, we need to be involved, but we also need to know who we are, and we also need to be willing to seek help when it's needed. And that is found all throughout the building, all throughout the school, and always a smiling face around to help get you to the right location. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you very much for being a part of this discussion. I look forward to seeing you again here very soon, hopefully in person. But until then, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy. So we will catch up in the near future, but thank you for your time today. You can wave and do the Brady Bunch to everybody now. So. All right. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Adios.
Yeah.